starting with this case. What do y'all think of this one?
Pay $65 million to nearly 100,000 employees who say the company wouldn't provide them with seating.
I definitely feel proud to be a Walmart pharmacist.
Walmart claims that placing stools at cash registers would pose a safety hazard and make workers less productive.
If you see a grocery bagger getting mocked and ridiculed simply because he has Down syndrome.
Not verbally communicate, he communicated through a sort of a family-based sign language.
Number 7, 7.5 million win. An Alabama man who said he tripped and broke his hip while buying a watermelon at a Walmart store won a $7.5 million verdict in his lawsuit against the retailer.
After a lawsuit claimed he tripped and broke his foot and hip while buying a watermelon.
This was his $7.5 million lotto ticket.
That's what it is.
Right here, this watermelon.
A 59-year-old Alabama man is now $7.5 million richer. He told the court his foot became trapped in a pallet beneath the watermelons, causing the spill and injuries.
Henry Walker was awarded the damages after a jury trial in Phoenix City, Alabama, just west of the Georgia state line. Walker had sued Arkansas-based Walmart, saying his foot became trapped in a pallet beneath the watermelons as he reached for one of the fruits at a Phoenix City Walmart on June 25, 2015. Walmart should have covered the pallet so that it could not entangle a shopper's foot, Charles Gower, one of Walker's attorneys, told the news.
But there's something also wrong with the judicial system when a lawyer works on a certain percentage of commission.
And he won a $7.5 million judgment.
Lawsuits have become the new lottery.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I want to drop it now. Maybe I'll own the whole studio.
In court records and in testimony, Walmart has maintained that the display was not dangerous and that any negligence was Walker's fault. In fact, the same displays are still used, it said. The company made the following statement about their display. Walmart continues to display watermelons in the same manner as it did on June 25, 2015. These displays come to the store from the producer already packaged,
being stored on one of those moving pallets.
On a pallet, exactly.
Which you've all seen. He caught his foot under the pallet.
Apparently he broke his foot in some context, and his lawyer alleged that he used to play basketball 3 times a week.
Oftentimes the people who deserve it the most don't get what they deserve, and I think that's the big take.
and ready to be dropped and displayed. Certainly an expensive watermelon display to stand by. After all, it cost them $7.5 million. Number 6, huge $3.1 billion lawsuit. Walmart agreed to pay $3.1 billion to resolve lawsuits accusing the pharmacy of selling drugs that contributed to the opioid epidemic, even though it denied the allegations and didn't admit liability. Walmart said it is proud of our pharmacists and our efforts to help fight the opioid crisis, as it strongly disputed claims that its stores didn't correctly regulate its prescriptions. The proposed settlement of $3.1 billion would include up to $116 million going to the state of New York. In 2017, Walmart established an opioid stewardship initiative to identify ways to fight the spread of the drugs.
Walmart truly believes in giving that quality patient care, and that's what I love.
I got into pharmacy because I knew that I wanted to make a difference with a lot of people.
The program includes pharmacist education, a reduction in the number of opioids dispensed, theft prevention, increased access to the opioid reversal medication naloxone, patient education, and advocacy to curb drug use. Walmart and other retailers have been subject to a large number of opioid lawsuits for years. In August, Walmart, CVS, and Walgreens were ordered to pay more than $650 million in an opioid case in Ohio.
The pharmacy is very fast-paced. You make a lot of relationships and bond with your patients.
I definitely feel proud to be a Walmart pharmacist.
We are hiring pharmacists, we're hiring pharmacy managers, technicians.
Number 5, unbelievable $65 million win. Walmart agreed to pay $65 million to nearly 100,000 cashiers in California who accused the retailer of violating state law by refusing to provide them with seating while they worked. Walmart denied any wrongdoing in the 9-year-old case, which was scheduled to go to trial in 2018 in a filing in federal court in San Francisco. The lawsuit was one of the first brought under a California regulation that requires seating for employees when the nature of the work reasonably permits.
The current and former cashiers in California say they were forced to stand through their shift. While the company denies any wrongdoing, it has agreed to the settlement and it is going to provide seating.
The regulation was originally adopted in 1911 to apply only to women working in the retail industry and it was tweaked and expanded several times in the ensuing century. Walmart had claimed that placing stools at cash registers would pose a safety hazard and could make workers less productive. The company said the nature of cashiers' work did not reasonably permit seating because they need to scan large items, stretch to see the bottom of shoppers' carts, bag merchandise, and sometimes perform work away from registers. Walmart has also said it had a policy of offering stools to cashiers with medical conditions or disabilities, and store managers have the discretion to provide stools to cashiers on a case-by-case basis. In addition to the payout of $65 million, the company said it would begin providing seating to its cashiers in California. If it had provided its workers with chairs a few years earlier, that would have been much lighter on the company's wallet.
Pay $65 million to nearly 100,000 employees who say the company wouldn't provide them with seating.
Walmart claims that placing stools at cash registers would pose a safety hazard and make workers less productive.
Number 4. Massive $125 million verdict. A federal jury delivered an eye-popping $125,150,000 verdict in a disability discrimination case against Walmart. The plaintiff in the case, Marlo Spaeth, was a longtime Walmart employee with Down syndrome. The information below is drawn from the allegations made by the plaintiff in her complaint and elsewhere. She had worked at Walmart since 1999 and had performed her job without incident and actually received pay raises until 2014. In 2014, Walmart instituted a computerized scheduling system that changed the hours which Spaeth was required to work. Spaeth informed her employer that she would be unable to work her new schedule, as her condition requires her to maintain a rigid daily routine. Although Spaeth raised this concern to her employer right away and followed up numerous times, Walmart took no steps to fix her schedule despite having the ability to do so. Walmart declined to remedy Spaeth's schedule, and she began experiencing attendance problems. She was disciplined twice for attendance and punctuality concerns before being terminated in July 2015.
Hey, buddy. Can you speed it up a bit?
Okay, sure. I will practice.
Not verbally communicate. He communicated through a sort of a family-based sign language.
You're at the grocery store when you notice one of their employees, Peter, has Down syndrome.
After her termination, Spaeth and 2 of her family members met with her employer to request that she be reinstated. Although her termination letter had specified that she was eligible for reinstatement, Walmart declined to rehire her. Spaeth filed a complaint with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, which brought a lawsuit against Walmart. The jury awarded $150,000 in compensatory damages for Spaeth's emotional pain and anguish. Additionally, the jury awarded a whopping $125 million in punitive damages against Walmart. Quite a loss for the company.
So he was sent home, the paperwork was submitted, and he was never called back.
If you see a grocery bagger getting mocked and ridiculed simply because he has Down syndrome.
Number 3. $2.1 million verdict. An Alabama woman who said she was falsely arrested for shoplifting at a Walmart and then threatened by the company after her case was dismissed was eventually awarded a whopping $2.1 million in damages. Leslie Nurse of Semmes said in a lawsuit that she was stopped in November 2016 when trying to leave a Walmart with groceries she said she already paid for. She said she used self-checkout, but the scanning device froze. Workers didn't accept her explanation, and she was arrested for shoplifting. Her case was dismissed a year later, but then she received letters from a Florida law firm threatening a civil suit if she didn't pay $200 as a settlement, according to her lawsuit. That was more than the cost of the groceries she was accused of stealing. Nurse said Walmart instructed the law firm to send the letters, and that she wasn't the only one receiving them. They had claimed these shoplifter accusations against multiple innocent citizens. The trial featured testimony that Walmart and other major retailers routinely use such settlements in states where laws allow it, and that Walmart made hundreds of millions of dollars this way in a 2-year period. Defense attorneys for Walmart said the practice is legal in Alabama, but legal or not, in the end, they had to pay back what they had taken. Number 2, $31 million bagged. A jury awarded more than $31 million in damages to a former Walmart pharmacist in New Hampshire who claimed she was wrongly fired after reporting safety concerns about co-workers dispensing prescriptions. Maureen McPadden, a 13-year employee at Walmart, was fired in 2012 after losing her pharmacy key. While working in Walmart's Seabrook pharmacy, she reported her concerns to management. The jury awarded most of the money based on gender discrimination claims by McPadden, even though Walmart denied all of it. McPadden and her lawyers said this case is important because it shows the issues of gender discrimination and public safety were taken seriously. McPadden's lawyers even said male pharmacists were treated better, which is completely unacceptable in this day and age. A company spokesman for Walmart said that the facts do not support the verdict and it plans to ask the trial judge to review it. He said McPadden had been disciplined before and the lost key led to her dismissal. They said, "We do not tolerate discrimination of any type, and neither that nor any concerns Miss McPadden raised about her store's pharmacy played a role in her dismissal." McPadden lives on the seacoast and still works as a pharmacist at a different company, hopefully one that treats women as equals. Number 1. Insane $4.4 million win. A black man in Oregon was awarded a $4.4 million settlement after a jury decided he had been racially profiled while shopping at Walmart. Michael Mangum filed a lawsuit against the retail giant and one of its employees, alleging that in March 2020 he was followed around a store in Wood Village, Oregon by a security worker and then asked to leave once he confronted the employee. Mangum had gone to the store to buy a light bulb for his refrigerator, according to the complaint. Court documents also allege that the security worker, Joe Williams, threatened to call the police if Mangum did not leave the premises. Mangum, who works for a housing project in Portland and as a counselor for at-risk youth, refused to leave. He was not intimidated. This is known in the black community as shopping while black, retail racism that occurs when a store employee assumes a person of color may shoplift and then trails or harasses the shopper. Walmart has found itself at the center of several such cases, most of which are still ongoing. 2 black men in Texas sued the retailer for racial discrimination in 2021, alleging that they were accused of theft and handcuffed by police after trying to return a television set. A black man who works as a corrections officer in Georgia filed a lawsuit this year against Walmart after being handcuffed and falsely accused of shoplifting. The verdicts of other cases are still not in, but in Magnum's case, he managed to win an impressive $4.4 million from the corporate giant. That's all for today, folks. See you next time.